For those of you who might be new to the channel, you might know that I am one to speak out on cats. And when I say speak out on cats, I mean feral cats. Cats are the most destructive invasive species in the world. I'll put the caveat in for humans, I get that. But besides humans, cats are the most destructive invasive species on the planet. You can make an argument that humans aren't even invasive species. And the reason I say that is because we got to where we got on our own. We moved there. Just like any other animal might expand its distribution, we did the same thing. To me, an invasive species is when animals are brought, or a species of plant is brought to an area against its own will. Okay, and it just does what the animal does. It doesn't mean that it's purposefully doing it, but it was brought. Like a cat would not be around the world if it wasn't for human intervention. That's why I think there should be a distinguishing mark. Regardless of that, cats in Puerto Rico, San Juan to be exact, have roamed the streets for a very long time, and the U.S. Department of whatever, I don't remember the exact thing off the top of my head, is removing them. And a company that is based out of the U.S., Cat Allies or something like that, we'll read into it, are suing because the cats are being removed from the streets of San Juan. And I think that is, there are words I would like to use, but I think that is dumb. All right, so the National Park Service is the one that is planning on removing these cats. National Park Service sued over plan to remove Puerto Rico's famous stray cats. The agency has said it would hire an organization to remove an estimated 200 cats that live in areas surrounding a historic seaside fortress in Old San Juan. San Juan, Puerto Rico, a nonprofit organization, said Thursday that it sued the National Park Service over a plan to remove Puerto Rico's famous stray cats from a historic district in the U.S. territory. The lawsuit, filed by Maryland-based Alley Cat Allies, comes 4 months after the federal organization announced it would contract an animal welfare organization to remove an estimated 200 cats that live in the area surrounding a historic seaside fortress in Old San Juan. The organization would decide whether the trapped cats would be adopted, placed in foster care, kept in a shelter, or face other options, otherwise be put down. It wasn't immediately clear if an organization has been hired. At the time, the National Park Service said it would hire a removal agency if the organization is contracted failed to remove the cats within 6 months. The agency did not immediately respond to a request for a comment. Tourists and locals have long considered the cats both a delight and a nuisance, with the National Park Service stating that in 2022 that the population had grown too much, as it noted the smell of urine and feces in the area. Activists have decried the plan, saying 6 months is insufficient time to remove so many cats and worried they would be killed. In its lawsuit, Alley Cat Allies requested additional environmental statements from the federal agency and asked that a judge find its actions allegedly violates acts including the National Environmental Protection Act. Let's see what the National Environmental Protection Act actually states. All right, this says Title I of NEPA contains a declaration of national environmental policy. This policy requires the federal government to use all practicable means to create and maintain conditions under which man and nature can coexist in productive harmony. Section 102 of Title I of the Act requires federal agencies to incorporate environmental considerations in their planning and decisions making through a systematic interdisciplinary approach. Specifically, all federal agencies are to prepare detailed statements assessing the environmental impact of all alternatives to major federal action, significantly affecting the environment. These statements are commonly referred to as environmental impact statements, ensuring that federal agencies meet their obligations under NEPA, overseeing federal agencies implementation of the environmental impact assessment process, issuing regulatory and other guidance to federal agencies regarding NEPA compliance. And when you go to the like this right here, NEPA requires federal agencies to assess the environmental effects of their proposed actions prior to making decisions. Now, if that's the case, I don't see how removing feral cats has anything to do with that would be a bad thing for the environment. And what do I mean by this? This is a study that was published in Nature, because I know a lot of people don't like Wikipedia, so I won't use their numbers. We estimate that free-ranging domestic cats kill 1.3 to 4 billion birds and 6.3 to 22.3 billion mammals annually. That's around the world. In the United States, there are specific numbers. The point of this being, let's see, this is another thing. Domestic cats are predators that humans have introduced globally and that have been listed among the 100 worst non-native invasive species in the world. Free-ranging cats on islands have caused, which Puerto Rico is an island, have caused or contributed to 14% of the modern bird, mammal, and reptile extinctions recorded by the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List. And this was published in 2013. So like at that time, it was still a big deal. That was 11 years ago now. You can only imagine, like this isn't a small study. 452 citations. Like this was a big study. This is just one study, and this was in Nature. The point of it being is that cats kill so many animals around the world a year that it doesn't matter where they're at. If you can get rid of them, it is a benefit to the environment. Keeping the cats there does not violate anything that Alley Cat Allies says it does from the National Environmental Protection Act. I don't see how that has anything to do. In fact, it would probably hurt them to bring that up. This is from the Associated Press. Just a couple of things from this article. It says the idea has outraged many people who worry the cats will be killed. This is like Disney World for cats, said Alfonso Casio, who has been going to Old San Juan since 2014 to feed cats a couple times a week. I don't know how these people dare face the world with their proposal. So let's defend the cat. Like this is cat propaganda. I understand people being upset by this, but let's look at one more thing that is really going to, like, this is in Puerto Rico. It's a small island in the Caribbean. I just did this is from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. In school, I am actually doing a report on the Puerto Rican boa. And I had to go through and talk about a lot of the animals that live there. And I noticed something very interesting. Look at the ESA status for all of these animals. These are animals that live in Puerto Rico. Threatened, threatened, endangered, threatened, endangered, threatened, endangered, 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 threatened, endangered, 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 endangered. Okay, these are plants, so I mean the last ones were plants too, which is not really too much of an issue for cats. But every single one of those are endangered or threatened. Let's see. A lot of plants. All right. Insects. Threatened. Mammals. Threatened. Reptiles. Endangered. Threatened. Endangered. Endangered. Threatened. Endangered. Threatened. Reptiles. Endangered. But like going back to the first one, amphibians, birds, like these are threatened, threatened, endangered. Like these animals on Puerto Rico, basically not a single one. There's a lot of endemic species to Puerto Rico. Animals that are found nowhere else. Many of these species are endangered or threatened, if not all of them that are endemic. Every single one of them. Cats, these guys are contributing to the decimation of any of the native animals. To say that it's not a good idea to remove them, I don't care how many people feed them, they're still going out and killing native animals. It's frustrating because people want to protect them, and I understand why, but it's a problem. Well, let me know what you think down below. Do you hate me now because I don't like cats that much? You probably do. I don't care. I'm gonna say this stuff over and over again. This is one of the biggest problems we have as a society, is the animals that we deem to be cute and cuddly, that people like, we will make any excuse in the world for why they should be around and in areas where they shouldn't be. If it was a snake, y'all would have chopped its head off 10 years ago. Like, there's a crusade against the pythons down in South Florida. When the pythons, yeah, they do some destructive things, but if a python were to eat a cat down in the Everglades, which there's plenty of cats in the Everglades, mind you, y'all would have a conniption. So with that being said, I am actually going down to the Everglades this weekend for an Earth Day thing. I'm hopefully going to meet Jeff Corwin. He's going to be down there at the Miccosukee Lodge. So I am very excited for that. Also, I'm going to be doing some herping and some other stuff like that. And I'm going to make some content that's only going to be for the people who subscribe to me. For those of you who join my YouTube stuff, I'm going to be coming out with a video from the Everglades this next week. I'm going to be doing an extra video every week for the people who want to, support me in extra ways. And I really do appreciate those people, and more stuff like this coming. There's also going to be a Patreon where I'm going to do the same sort of thing. So if you would rather do it on Patreon, you can go there. If you'd rather do it on YouTube, you can stay here. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you on the next one.